Have you ever looked at a really slick professional website and just wondered, how did they actually build that? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to demystify the entire process from that very first line of code all the way to a live, blazing fast website. Let's get into it.
So here's the big question we're tackling. How on earth do you build a professional, super fast website in just 1 week? I know, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's totally possible. We're going to follow the architect's journey step by step to see exactly how it's done with modern tools like Next.js.
Okay, first things first. Before any architect can even think about building a skyscraper, they've got to understand the laws of physics, right? Well, for us, it's the exact same thing. We need to get a handle on the core principles, the physics, of how a modern website actually works. So what really happens when you type a website address into your browser and hit enter? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like ordering a pizza. Seriously, let's break down how a web page gets delivered from their kitchen to your screen.
It all happens in 4 key stages, just like getting that pizza. First, you place the order. That's just your browser requesting a page. Step 2, the kitchen, the server, starts cooking the page using these things called server components. But here's the cool part. You don't have to wait for the whole thing to be ready. The server immediately sends out advertisers, the basic layout and text, so you see something on your screen right away. And finally, the toppings get added. This last step is called hydration, and it's what makes the page interactive, bringing all those buttons and menus to life.
Let's look a little closer at that kitchen prep, because this is absolutely key. By default, almost your entire site is made of server components. Think of this like a master chef who prepares the whole meal for you in the kitchen. You just get the finished dish, ready to go. This is incredibly fast because almost zero JavaScript gets sent to your browser. Now, for anything that needs to be interactive, like a like button, you use a client component. That's more like a DIY salad bar. You get all the ingredients and you assemble it yourself right there in the browser. Okay, so we've got the theory down. Now let's talk about how this stuff actually gets built. A great website isn't just about cool features, it's about how it's organized behind the scenes. We're about to go from a totally messy room to a perfectly organized closet.
The fancy professional term for this is refactoring. And really, it's not as scary as it sounds. It just means cleaning your code up without changing what it does. You're not buying new clothes, you're just organizing the ones you have so you can actually find them. It's that simple. And this is what we're trying to avoid, the messy room. It's that project where every single file is just dumped into one giant folder. It's a total nightmare to find anything, let alone try to fix a bug or add a new feature.
The solution? A professional blueprint. A clean closet where everything has its place. All your reusable visual pieces, like buttons and cards, go into a folder called Components. Your helper functions and other utilities, they go in a folder called Lib, short for library. And the definitions for your data, they live in Types. It's logical, it's clean, and it's built to last.
Now, to make our organized code even more robust, we use a tool called TypeScript. And this quote just nails it. Think of types as labels you put on your storage containers. They tell you exactly what's inside, which stops you from, accidentally putting your shoes in the cereal box.
Because without those labels, you're left with a ticking time bomb. Check this out. Here's a piece of code that looks perfectly fine. It's supposed to show a blog post, but whoops, someone accidentally passed it a user's name instead. The moment a real user triggers this code, the entire website will crash.
But with TypeScript, that bomb gets diffused before it even starts ticking. Look at this. TypeScript acts like a bouncer at the door. It sees the mismatch immediately right in your code editor and yells, "Hey, you're trying to put the wrong thing in this box." This one simple check prevents an incredible number of bugs from ever seeing the light of day.
So all this organization leads us to the next big idea, building modern websites with smart, reusable building blocks. Honestly, the best way to think about this is with Legos. You're not carving a sculpture from one giant block of stone, you're snapping together smaller pieces to create anything you can imagine. And just like a real Lego set, our components come in all shapes and sizes. We have our small UI pieces, things like buttons and badges. We've got the big structural pieces like the header and footer that appear on every page. Then we have specialized Legos just for our blog, like a postcard. And we have these really cool things called interactive islands. A perfect example is a dark mode toggle. It's a tiny bit of interactivity living on an otherwise static, super fast page built by the server.
Okay, enough theory. We've seen the blueprint, we've organized the materials, and we've got our Lego blocks ready. It's time to put it all together and reveal the finished skyscraper.
And here it is. This is the result. The home page is our grand entrance. It uses those building blocks we talked about to automatically go and grab the 3 most recent blog posts and display them right up front.
Next up, the main blog page. This is where you really see the power of those organized components. They just automatically arrange themselves into this perfect, beautiful grid that looks fantastic on any device, whether it's a huge desktop monitor or your phone.
And of course, the individual blog post page. Because of our clean structure and reusable styles, the content is just perfectly formatted, making it super easy and pleasant to read.
So, you want to know the really wild part? How long do you think it takes to deploy this entire professional website for the whole world to see? About 60 seconds. That's it. With modern platforms like Vercel, you literally just connect your code and click a button and it's live. It's incredible.
Wow. Okay. So, in just a few minutes, you've basically been handed an entire architectural toolkit for understanding how the modern web is built. Let's do a quick recap of the most important tools you now have.
You now get the core concepts. You understand the difference between server and client components, remember the chef versus the salad bar. You know how the folder structure itself actually creates the pages on your site. You get how TypeScript is like a safety net catching bugs for you. And you've seen how we can use automatic files for loading and error states, and how platforms like Vercel make deployment an absolute breeze.
So the foundation of the modern web has been laid. The architectural blueprint is now yours. The only question left is, what are you going to build on it?